you need?
My body is in need of rest and relaxation.
What'll it be this time, Henry?
I could use the company of a pretty bath maid.
All right, but money up front.
Let's talk about the price.
Certainly, no problem.
Is this enough?
You'll have to make a better offer for this. Wonderful. You'll see. You'll be happy to come back here.
Good boy.
Phew. I always get hungry after a fuck like that. I'll go and find something to eat.
Careful. And get this, Miller Bolshka says he was in the water at least a week, judging by the state of his body.
So what? Somebody did him in and chucked him into the water.
But the river there has a powerful current. The dead man had been floating down the river for at least a week. Bloody rain. Oof.
Lord be with you.
I just came to tell you I found Nickvard.
Does he still need that task of me?
No. Nickvard is dead. He overestimated his strength when he set out to do it himself.
Oh, so I'm in luck. It must have been a harder task than I thought. Where did he go?
Outside Trotsky beneath the privies, below the Crone.
You mean outside the walls?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if I'd known...
What's happened, happened.
He wasn't killed by a spy, by any chance?
Oh, give it over.
Never mind, then. Thanks for telling me.
Silly doggy.
I came to tell you I found Nickvard.
Will he come and pick up his medicine?
He won't need it anymore. He's dead.
My God! It must have been something more serious than indigestion, then. Demons?
No. He just overestimated his strength.
How sad. But thanks for telling me. I'll pray for his soul.
I came to tell you I took care of all the fireplaces in the palace under the Maiden. The demons should be gone now.
Thank you. But they'll be back next year, you'll see.
I reckon someone will handle it if they do.
Take care.
Were you at the last mass? I didn't see you there.
Just as well. I fell asleep during the sermon.
I'm not surprised. The sermons have been awful lately. If I hear about the woman with the 10 silver coins one more time, I'll scream.
Maybe we could sneak some wine in next time. That would make it more bearable.
Or just say sod it and not go.
What are you talking about? You want to go to hell?
Ha! Hell or a never-ending boring mass. What's the difference?
I came to tell you I sprinkled all the fireplaces in the second part of the castle.
Oh, thank God. Finally, I'll be able to focus on my work. I didn't want to start making Pike aspect while those monsters were roaming around. Did you see any of them? What do they look like?
I wasn't so lucky.
Oh, that's a shame. But you can be sure they've seen you. Thanks for taking care of it. Hopefully they'll leave us alone for at least a year. Farewell, sir.
God be with you. Keep the peace, and we'll stay friends.
Greetings, Master Guard. Oh, great. Another shitter.
Pissing down again.
The place you sent me to was just another privy. I'm starting to lose my patience.
Oops, excuse me and my befuddled mind, I've messed up again.
You're just messing with me. People are scared, rumors are spreading, and you're sending me from one privy to another.
It was just a little misunderstanding.
Where the hell are these demons? Tell me.
Look around the staircase leading to the scribe's chamber, near the maid's quarters. It's between the palace below the crone and the tower. That reeking, hellish door must be hidden there.
I swear, if this is another shitter...
Of course not. I wouldn't dare threaten the security of the castle.
If there's nothing there, you'll have me to answer to.
I'm sure you'll find something. I'd get my weapon ready if I were you.
If this is another joke, you'll really piss me off. What did I expect?
You're always welcome here, good sir.
Blacksmith?
Let me guess. You didn't find any demons?
I'm done looking for them.
There's no need to anyway. You made so much noise the demons all crawled back underground. Christ! To think I'd find a moron who'd buy it 3 times in a row. 3 times!
So you were just wasting my time?
Not at all. Next time your belly starts rumbling, you'll know exactly where to go.
I feel like I've been possessed by a demon, and it's driving me to kick your arse.
Have you lost your sense of humour as well as your sense of smell? Try me, lad. You'll be leaving this castle on a stretcher.
We'll see about that. Nobody makes fun of me.
You're just a whiny, humourless little weakling. And soon enough, you'll have a busted lip. Now you're gonna get it!
Mercy! Leave me be! Have you had enough?
Fuck! Alright, enough!
It's just you.
I've got half a mind to shove your face in all 3 of those shitters, but I reckon this'll do.
Aye, I've had enough.
See you soon, my friend. What do you need, sir?
What do you have for... Let's talk about the price.
Very...
Only because it's you.
You'll have to make a better offer for this. Aye, you'll convince me with that price.
Thank you, sir. And come again.
Careful.
God bless you, sir.
What will it be?
I'll have a look at the...
Nothing to your liking, sir.
Does the name Nick Vard Libak ring a bell?
Yes, but I haven't seen him for a long time. What about him?
Nick Vard is lying dead outside Trotsky Castle walls, where the guardhouse privies are. He apparently overestimated his strength while, on his little excursion.
Are you serious? My God. I'll send someone there immediately.
I took care of those demons. They shouldn't be a problem anymore. I didn't see or hear any of them. I reckon it was just rats.
Hopefully things will quieten down again for a while. Most importantly,
I decided to help Ossiner as well, but it didn't exactly end well.
all the quarrels and strife were brought here by the demons. Things should quieten down now.
Anyway, the job is done.
Trotsky Castle, held by Sir Otto von Berghoff, Lord of Billin, Royal Chamberlain of the Kingdom of Bohemia, Chairman of the Provincial Court, Member of the Crown Council, Magistrate of the Peace, Burgrave of Prague, thanks you.
I didn't fight Lucifer like Sir Otto, but even so, the demons should leave you alone. I'm glad I could help.
And I'm glad that all I have left to deal with this month is fixing the stairs, the sedilia, and checking all the chimneys.
You've got a lot to do.
There's always something to do at a big castle like this. Also, don't think you can continue to move freely about the castle. You are hereby stripped of that privilege. Nevertheless, since the minions of hell didn't reach the castle's coffer, nor did they cut into our profits, you deserve a reward. God be with you.
God be with you. Keep the peace, and we'll stay friends.
Greetings.
So, how did you end up at Trotsky?
Sir Otto hired me in Prague as his bodyguard and a swordmaster for the local castle garrison. I reckon he sensed he was in danger, and he was right. A band of scoundrels was lying in wait for us on the road, and they nearly got us.
Do you have a moment?
Ask away, Henry.
How was your company ambushed? What happened exactly?
It was well planned, I must admit. They nearly got us.
And what went wrong for them?
Hard to say. Maybe we were just lucky, and God was watching over us.
That's all there was to it?
If you really want to know what I think, the idiots lacked discipline. They rushed it.
What do you mean?
It might have come down to a single fool's mistake. I don't know. But if they just waited a bit longer, we wouldn't have stood a chance. Like I say, I thank the Virgin Mary and all the saints for watching over us.
Why do they call you Black Bartosz?
It's just a nickname, of course, because of my, black hair. Every swordsman has a nickname. You know, once you win a few tournaments, they give you one.
So you're really a highborn knight?
Indeed. I'm Bartoszek of Drahonitz. My father served Emperor Charles his entire life.
Oh, sorry. I suppose I should call you sir.
No, there's no need for formalities. Titles are worthless. A man should earn a name for himself. It's not enough to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
You must have been honoured when the royal chamberlain chose you as his bodyguard. How did you meet?
That's simple. I was serving in the garrison in Prague's royal castle, where von Burgo was a frequent guest.
I see. But what brought you to his attention? You have good connections, I suppose.
Depends what you mean. I'd recently won 2 big tournaments, so I was invited to a splendid banquet. It was there Sir Otto offered me a position at his castle. I'd heard of Trotsky, of course, but I was still astonished when I saw it with my own eyes. Sir Otto spared no expense to build a truly mighty fortress.
Sorry, but we're about the same age, and I'd never have guessed you're a swordmaster.
We each have our own path, it seems. I even studied at university, while I could still afford it.
What? You're a man of letters as well?
I wouldn't go that far. I dabble in poetry a bit, that's all. I may come from a noble family, but we're not renowned or rich, and studying costs a fortune, and I didn't have one, so I had to do what I do best.
You became a mercenary.
That's right. I spent more time fighting than studying at university, and I came out of it alive. So I reckoned that's where my talent lies.
Where did you learn to fight, Bartosz?
I've dedicated the last 5 years of my life to it. I travelled a lot and was taught by several masters.
I'd like to see the world too, but I haven't even made it to Prague yet.
Well, I haven't been all that far either. But unless you learn from true masters, you'll never become a master yourself. Fortunately, these days there are plenty of swordsmen in Prague who will train you for coin.
I hope to make it to our royal city someday soon.
If you do, go and see Master Lamprecht and give him my regards. He's a man of honour and a peerless master of the longsword.
Go and get your horse so we can get going.
Oh, excuse me.
Good day. You have a kind master, eh, much?
God bless.
Greetings to you two.
And nor should you.
Except, I don't have a bullock, and you won't lend me yours on any other day.
Go and see the priest first. If he says it's all right, I'll be happy to help you, friend.
Best of luck. Take care.
What's new around here?
Nothing new. It's quiet here, fortunately.
Greetings, Miller.
Wait, is that you? Henry! Is it really you? It's me! Bolek! Remember?
Of course I do. Bolek, chasing the Holy Grail, how could I forget? But I see you've traded adventure for honest work.
Oh, no. This is just a disguise. Part of my plan, you know?
Oh, right. I get it. So, tell me then. Find any more leads?
I took your advice and looked for a map that would fit the rhyme, but it's harder than I thought, and bad luck clings to me like flies to a pig.
How so?
Did you know that millers sometimes find themselves in possession of, let's say, hot goods?
I have heard that said.
I once won a treasure map from one. So I figured if they have maps like that, maybe they'll have one that'll take me to the Grail. Anyway, I got myself this great disguise and went to the mill to join their guild. And that's where it all went to shit.
I see. So the millers tricked you, and you have no map?
No, I don't.
I thought as much. Well, what are you going to do now, then?
Well, I was thinking, if that parchment was given to me by a monk, perhaps the monks know where I might find the map and the rest of the rhyme.
That might not be a bad idea.
I've been sniffing around in Kuttenberg, but no luck. They're like the millers, the lot of them. They learn to read and then look down their noses at the likes of me.
Ugh, I'm with you on that. I was holed up in a monastery for a bit, and it was hell. Always getting flack for something or other. Thou shalt not this, thou shalt that. Stay out of this place, go here, go there. Dreadful.
Hang on. You've been in a monastery?
That's what I'm telling you. And it was ghastly.
That's a great idea, Henry.
What is?
I mean, if I could just sneak into the monastery, I might be able to find something out. You've got to help me. How can I get in? Do I need one of their kutuks? Or whatever they call them rags? I'll find one. I'm a master of disguise.
Forget about the cassock. If you want to get in there fast, dress up as a woman. They're celibate, and the sight of any woman would immediately make them, amenable. Get yourself a pretty frock, pad your cleavage up, and pound on their gate. They'll tell you whatever you want. You'll see.
Seriously? That's how it goes in there?
Trust me, I've been there. That happened all the time.
Well, great. I thought it was going to be tough. But if all it takes is that, right. I'm off to find myself a big old cabbage for my cleavage. Thanks for the advice, my friend. I suspect we'll be toasting each other from the Grail soon.
I can't wait.
It was good to see you, my friend.
Henry, it's good to see you. Listen, would you like to stop by sometime? After all that's happened, I could really use someone to talk to.
Sure. I'll stop by when I have the time. Do you buy wool?
That's right.
Once I've killed one. Why don't we go and have a seat somewhere now?
Aye, I did. Come, let's have a seat outside, so we can admire the view at least. Henry, tell me something. How do you cope? When I asked you to kill those poachers, you went and did it without any remorse.
Murder is a sin. There's no doubt about that. But sometimes you don't have a choice.
Aye, you're bloody right about that.
Why'd you ask?
Being von Bergau's huntsman isn't my only job. From time to time, he gives me a different task.
What do you mean by that?
The first time was 2 winters ago. The Chamberlain summoned me one night. Said he needed something taken care of. The lass couldn't have been older than 15. A servant at the castle. I saw young Sir Jan being dragged away from her.
Jan?
Von Burgau's son. He's at Sbarrow now. So you couldn't have met him. I don't know what they told her, but she rode behind me obediently. I brought her deep into the woods, and then, when you shoot a deer, and it doesn't make a sound, you know you did a good job. It didn't suffer, you know? But this lass shrieked like a banshee.
You killed her?
Was I supposed to refuse an order from my lord?
Who was this girl?
I don't know. I reckon I saw her a few times at the castle. A maid, I suppose. She had hair like straw and blue eyes. I keep seeing her in my dreams.
Why did von Burgov have her killed?
When I came over to her, as she was laying on the ground, screaming, to put her out of her misery, that's when I saw it. She was with child. I reckon she was carrying Jan's bastard, and von Burgov was against it.
So that wasn't the only time you had to do something like that?
It wasn't. Usually they just give me a body to get rid of in the woods. The wolves take care of it. But this was different. It haunts my dreams. The only time I forget about it is when I'm drunk senseless.
I didn't expect you were going to tell me something like that. If there's anything I can do to help you, let me know.
That's all right, Henry. Lending your ear is more than enough.
Does your family know?
I told Zlata, but not Vitek. The lad is young. He shouldn't have to worry about things like that. But enough talk, Henry. Thanks for sitting here with me. And one more thing. I'd appreciate if you didn't tell anyone about this.
You have my word.
Farewell, good sir.
Good afternoon. Take care now.
What can I do for you?
What do you have?
What can you do, sir? Maybe next time.
It's a nice place to rest when you're passing by in the summer. The only bit of shade far and wide.
Well, that's just it. Some noble was resting under it. Not for shade, but because I was pissing down.
All the more reason to leave it be, no?
Aye, but the weather had been stormy for a few days, so one of the branches snapped and fell off. Nothing happened to the noble, but it broke his horse's back.
And that pissed him off and he wants his revenge?
He complained to the bailiff, saying the oak's dangerous and has to go.
Christ, there'll be nothing nice left here at this rate.
Oh, don't worry. When's the last time you saw the bailiff get anything done on time? That tree will still be here long after we're gone.
A stranger? What the fuck are you doing here?
Is something wrong?
I'd say so. Let me explain. Hey, you have anything to eat? I haven't eaten for such a long time, and I know you'll be happy to share.
Of course.
see now. Now be on your way.
Ah, what a treat this will be.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. I made it to the top. Now to survive the trip back down. Judging by the trophies, I reckon this was a poacher's den. But it looks like he hasn't been here in a while. Well, Vostatek would be surprised.
Turn around right now and get the hell out of...
You can't even count to 10!
And 10! You had your chance, bastard!
I yield. Mercy. I'm not gonna just let you leave.
Let me live!
Drop your weapon and leave.
There you go. Now keep your word. You promised to free me, now keep your word.
Whoa.
I'm all yours.
Help! What do you think you're doing?
Saving your life?
And who asked you to do that? I had them right where I wanted. A little longer and they'd be done for.
Sorry then. I was just trying to help.
Well, thanks a lot. Now everyone's going to think I'm some kind of milksop. You know what? Piss off before I kick your ass at least.
Good evening. Do you need something?
What's new around here?
Nothing much, lad. At least I haven't heard about anything.
I've travelled half the region on account of your saltpeter. So I think it's time you told me something about yourself.
I think by now you know who I am, and what my place in the world is. This is where I stand. And over there is my mill. I'm just an ordinary miller, with an extraordinary interest in the way the world runs.
Well, at least tell me why you've settled in Lower Semine, of all places.
Isn't it obvious? It's the arse end of the world. It's peaceful here. At least it was until you came around and started asking questions.
Show me your way. I have the book for you.
Well, I must admit, I haven't had an apprentice this handy in a long time. Zinnik has nothing on you.
I had a peek inside. The pictures are nice, but what do you want to learn from them?
You'll find out soon enough. Show me that miraculous thing. This really is something. But why is it all covered in shit, for fuck's sake?
Let's just say the scribe didn't have it. It actually wasn't even in the castle. Under it, really.
Oh, refining saltpeter. Boil wine and alum. Grind. Ah, of course, it makes sense. I'll study the rest on the way. Well, the last chapter of our story of knowledge awaits us. The grand finale.
So what now? Do you have another job for me?
Charcoal. Sulfur from Hermes Trismegistus. Saltpeter from the carcass pit. As long as Black Bertolt didn't make any mistakes in his calculations, we have everything.
What Bertolt? Oh, God damn it, Crazer, what's going on here? I'm tired of flying back and forth like a rag on a stick. I won't be led around by the nose. Will you finally tell me what's going on?
Believe it or not, all this secrecy had its reasons. But now I don't have to hide anything from you. It's time. We'll meet with the others in the lair, and there you'll learn the whole truth. You go ahead. I'm going to get a few things ready here.
All right, then. I hope you keep your word this time. The thing with the girl for the Chamberlain didn't work out. I reckon you knew that already.
I had no idea it'd be so much of a problem. In that case, it's up to you once again.
Thankfully, I have access to Trotsky now.
I heard things got heated with your imprisonment there.
That's putting it lightly.
Tell me about it later. What about the book? Got any leads yet?
Well, I talked to Erezine, the scribe, and I'm working on it.
Good to hear, but get to it.
What'll happen now?
Our last supper, with only one but very filling course, awaits us.
Quasel, please. For once, just once, tell me what's actually going on.
And rob myself of enjoying your blissful ignorance? Not a chance. Tell me yourself, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, hopefully I'll finally find out what the point of all this was.
Or not, until you try another dose of niter.
I wouldn't do that to him. Not today. Bonnie will start today. At least I'll finally see if she understood my teachings. Bonnie?
First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the whole gang for all the work you've done. We could never have finished the job without you. We found 2 new partners, you and Monarch here. It's good to have someone to rely on. So, it's time we started being honest with you, so you can finally learn the whole truth.
Not yet. Let's pull up that uppity bastard's leg a bit longer. That's the fun part!
One more word, Zinnek, and you'll get one on the nose.
Calm down, friend. I'm just kidding. Tell him then, Bonnie.
This whole time, you've been collecting ingredients and clues for us. But, so you wouldn't go nosing around, we always told you it was for something different than it actually was.
The miller here calls it tackets.
Tactics, you idiot. And everything worked out according to plan. So today we're finally close to our great success. With the help of Hermes Trismegistus and his successors, we'll finally complete the dream of all alchemists. Our magnum opus.
Exactly, Bonnie.
Magnum opus. A great work of alchemy. You're trying to make the Philosopher's Stone.
I see you've learned something after all. But no, the Philosopher's Stone isn't our goal.
Let's see then, Henry. What is it you think we're making here?
Some kind of weapon?
Well, Henry's not too far from the truth after all, don't you think? Actually, he's pretty spot on, although weapons were our last order of business. Let's start at the beginning. My father was a miller as well, but I was never much interested in the trade. Even as a young boy, I loved running around Lower Samine and investigating everything living and dead. And I had a lot of questions about everything. Then my mother, God rest her soul, decided it'd be best for me to go to study in Prague. As soon as I grew up and gained a bit of sense, I packed my bags and left.
So you went to a university in Prague? The son of a miller?
Why not? My father worked his arse off, and he had the coin for it, miller or not. I met a lot of remarkable people at the university, and my thirst for knowledge kept growing. But in the end, it only took a year of all that pretentious, scholarly blathering and hypocritical nonsense for me to realize I wouldn't learn anything proper there. Most of the students and masters are just a bunch of dogmatic fools. They have their own truth, and those who want to know more or ask the wrong questions fall into disfavor, as was my case.
You left your studies?
And I'm glad I did. The most important science is not subject to any religious dogma. And, of course, it's not taught at any university.
You mean thievery?
Oh, come on. The art of combination and dissolution. The key to understanding the very nature of the world. There's only one queen of science. Alchemy. I returned to the mill in Lower Samine and started a new life.
What did your parents say when you returned from your studies?
My mother had already passed away. All my father said was, "I knew you'd be back." And he sent me to haul sacks of flour. I think in the end he was glad to have someone to take over the mill from him. From then on, alchemy became my true passion. I brought a few important books from Prague. I started with the most difficult thing. I tried to create gold.
That was pretty daring of you.
As you might expect, it didn't work. But after a few tries, I managed to create something entirely different. Once I tried mixing sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. I had a candle burning next to me. A gust of wind scattered the mixture, and all of a sudden, bang! I almost shit myself, I tell you. But then I realized I'd unwittingly created a miracle. Explosive black powder.
So I was right. You're making weapons.
No, it's about much more than that. We're all in on it now.
I couldn't continue my experiments on my own, but Bonnie and Zinnig did a few little jobs for me.
So he initiated us.
But we just still didn't know how to do it right and not blow ourselves up in the process.
And we used up a huge amount of saltpeter and sulfur.
By the way, the manuscript from that Hermes Trismegistos was our shopping list and price list for material from Kuttenberg.
Only we didn't know correct proportions. I looked up a few of my former fellow students and brought it up with them. And we found out that before us, some monk had already made the discovery.
Some fella called Black Bertold. And that he even started writing a book called
Feuerwerk book.
We can believe our luck when we found out there's a copy of it right here at Trotsky.
And you know the rest.
It's a discovery that will change history. In the right hands, it can make miracles happen. All it takes is a spark, and a storm of fire will sweep away the old world order. It will wipe out stupidity and ignorance, once and for all.
And what will happen now?
As I said, we're about to have our last supper on our journey to satisfy our hunger for knowledge. A feast of smoke and fire. Black Bertold never finished his book, because he never had enough ingredients for his last great experiment. But now, thanks to you, we do. we can finally finish Berthold's work and finish his book. We'll see with our own eyes what a barrel of black powder can do. I hope you're as excited as I am.
Before we get started, there's something I want to know. This book, Feuerwerk book, what's written in it?
Everything you'd want to know about black powder. How to mix it in the proper ratio, how to store it, how to light it properly, and especially how to use it in warfare, because that's the most important part, after all.
Do you really need that much saltpeter?
We do. Saltpeter makes up almost 3/4 of the mixture. Not even all the cows in the region could produce enough for us once we really get started with manufacturing.
What is it you're going to do with this powder?
During wartime, like it is now, a flammable and explosive mixture like this has more uses than you can imagine. If we had a few big barrels of the stuff, we could demolish Trotsky if we wanted to. And maybe we will.
All of us here are truly passionate about the idea of a new world, and now it's within our grasp.
What is it you studied at the university?
I was supposed to become a preacher.
That fits you. Maybe you'd even be a good preacher.
Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't.
God has a path prepared for each of us. And each of us here decided not to follow it.
I was supposed to be a dyer, but I was too lazy to work 6 days a week and soak my hands in lye.
I was supposed to become a nun, but I didn't want to give up the booze and fellas.
And I've already told you everything. The world is what you make it.
How did a scholar and an alchemist become a thief?
Prague is a big city, and a poor student has no chance of getting a decent place to sleep or even something to eat. Learning to shop with 5 fingers was the first requirement for survival. We're all masters of our own destiny.
I've heard enough. Now I want to see that with my own eyes.
Let's do it then. Bonnie, is everything ready?
Indeed, it is. We can get started. Long live the beautiful new world.
Looks like it ain't working.
I'd say it works just fine.
This will change history.
What? I can't hear a thing. But I'd say it works just fine.
Scraping nitro off the side instead of mixing this stuff.
As long as you listen to me and keep the proportions right, you won't
maybe
fuck
9
it
feet
up.
deep. No splinters, white ash.
Never stop ringing.
Oh, you poo.
We've been through a lot together. Will you finally tell me more about yourself?
Have you not grown tired of all this constant questioning? I've told you plenty already. And if I left something out, it was for a good reason.
Well, I know about the university, the alchemy, your desire to change the world. But I don't know anything about you as a person.
That's a question I'd like to know the answer to myself. To find yourself, and who you really are. Isn't that the only true meaning of life?
You really led me on about the gunpowder magazine, didn't you? A golem made of dough, souls inside saltpeter, the secrets of light and shadow. That was all just empty talk, wasn't it?
Not exactly. It's all based on the real philosophy of the Jewish Kabbalah. I studied the writings of Bonaventura and Dietrich von Freiberg, but it was never in my interest to put their theories into practice. But they work brilliantly as a cover-up, don't you think?
I really thought you'd have a golem made from dough walking around the mill, or that I could become invisible.
Ah, but black powder is no less a miraculous creation.
So for the last time, Crazel, what now?
I'll do what I promised, and what will most likely be my fate. I'm going to gather together all the knowledge I've acquired and finish Black Berthold's book. I'll finish his opus.
Uh-huh. And what about me?
That's up to you, Henry. You're a free man. Lower Samine has no hold over you, and never did. You know, the inevitability of God's plan takes no interest in people like you and me. We'll always be little people, beneath it all.
That sounds somehow hopeful in a peculiar way, I'd say. Now I'm even happier about the great thing we've accomplished here.
The ideal conclusion, I'd say. Maybe it's time to carry sacks at a different mill. But if you're still interested in learning a bit more, drawing from the well of alchemical knowledge...
I know where to find you.
Indeed.
Crazel?
Phew.
What's new around here?
Nothing much, lad. Take care.
Black powder? I'd never have expected that from Crazel.
Imagine, that monarch of ours is half deaf.
That dog of yours? What does that have to do with the gunpowder magazine?
Just that I was wondering that the explosions didn't bother him at all. At least he won't suffer here. And now I'm not surprised he was so unhappy with that bastard Vesarek. Hey, how did you know what we were actually doing?
I didn't exactly.
But you said weapons. How did you find out? Did we let it slip somehow?
I just guessed.
You bet on a guess. Ha ha ha! You're as hasty as that Zenek of ours. And I still owe you a nickname. I reckon I'll call you Zenek the Second then.
Well, I suppose I can't talk you out of it, eh?
Probably not. Well, at least me and Zenek played our roles perfectly.
Nice work.
Likewise, brother Powderman. Good luck on your travels. God be with you, and have a pleasant... God be with you, and have a pleasant evening.